Muppet Show. Joel Stanley was the producer and writer of the show. And director and credits, and they just keep rolling, just Joel Stanley. And Joel Stanley. And then, of course, our children from the youth group. So, all right.
Thanks for coming.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our play. We are all certainly happy, and more than a little surprised, that you invited us to come back and put on another show for your church family night program this year. I can assure you that we've been working really hard to put this thing together, and I feel like there's going to be a fantastic time for all of us tonight. There's going to be comedy, drama, amazing special effects, and a lot of ham-fisted acting. But before we get into all that, I'd just like to say that we're going to do our best to make sure that this show is even better than our last one in every possible way.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hang on there, narrator. Let's not oversell this thing.
Oversell? Carl, what do you mean by that? You're not even supposed to be out here.
I know I'm not supposed to be out here, but it's just that sometimes you tend to get carried away with talking about how great things are. And I didn't want these people to come into the show with the wrong impression. I mean, I think it might be better for everyone if they started out with low expectations, and then maybe they can leave pleasantly surprised.
Low expectations? What's that supposed to mean, Carl? You don't think the show's any good?
Well, it is a sequel.
A sequel? So what? What does that have to do with anything?
Sequels are always worse than the originals. You know that.
They are not. Why would you say something like that?
Because it's true. Seriously. Name me one sequel that was better than the original. I bet you can't do it. And you want to know why? It's because when you are writing a script or a story and you have a good idea for it, you go ahead and put that into a story right away. No good ideas are ever saved for the sequel. So when you watch a sequel, basically you are watching something that is full of all the mediocre ideas that weren't quite good enough to make it into the first story to begin with.
I suppose you might have a point there, Carl.
I sure do. I don't know who writes these things, but I guarantee you if he or she had any good ideas for a show about the parables, they would have used every one of them in the show, in the first show, and all the stuff that we're going to be doing tonight is leftovers. I'm sure they did their best and all, but this is likely to be a dull evening.
Okay, I see your point, but I just can't believe that every sequel ends up being worse than the original. There has to be an exception to that rule. What about Jaws 2?
That movie was horrible.
Cars 2?
A shameless cash grab.
Weekend at Bernie's 2?
I can't even believe that got made into a movie. I'm telling you, you're not going to be able to come up with a sequel that's better than the original. It's impossible. In fact, the more I think about it, the more I realize that this show is probably just one big bad idea.
I'm sure I can come up with one. Just give me a minute to think. Wait, I've got one.
No, you do not. It's okay if you want to leave now, folks. This is guaranteed to be a real train wreck. Calmly make your way towards the exits. There's no cause for pushing or shoving. If we all leave now in an orderly fashion, there's no reason why anyone should have to stay and watch any more of this.
Oh, I do have one. What about the New Testament, huh? That's a sequel, and it's better than the original.
That doesn't count.
Well, it should. It's only the most important sequel of all time. And all of our stories for tonight come from the New Testament. So I think we still might have a chance of putting on a good show, even if it is a sequel. At the very least, I think we should give it a try.
Ugh. Well, if you say so, but if we're going to go through with all this, you've at least got to do something about that title. That's the most boring title to a sequel I've ever seen. We can't just call it Parables 2. We need to call it something like Parables 2, Parable Harder, or parables in 2, parables in space. You know, so at least the title will be interesting.
I'll take that into consideration, Carl. Now, why don't you go ahead and get backstage and get everyone ready for the first act. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house upon sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. Matthew 7:24-27. Our first parable takes place in a housing development office, where a housing developer, played by Doris, is negotiating with two prospective clients, Zach and Sally.
Zach, Sally, welcome to the Blue Community Corporate Offices. It's good to finally meet you both in person. Now, as I understand from your emails, you're interested in finding lots from our Sun Valley housing development in our project out in Newport Beach. Is that right?
That is correct, ma'am.
Yes, my brother and I are looking into building a couple houses. Separate houses. And we like the idea of being close enough together that we could see each other occasionally, like in an emergency. Like in a severe emergency. But not so close together that he'll always be over at my place doing laundry and eating my food.
Okay,
We
well,
also wouldn't want them so close together that I'd be able to hear her snoring at night, or have to constantly dig clumps of her stupid hair out of the shower drain either.
I certainly understand, and
And we would definitely want them far enough apart that he wouldn't be able to use up all of my toilet paper and never replace it. Or give me headlights. Again!
Or for her to use my tuba without asking.
Or for him to borrow all of my One Direction albums and never return them.
I am so happy that I'm not going to have to live with you anymore.
Me too, jerk.
well, I certainly think that our Sun Valley development can accommodate your particular needs. We've got over 1,000 acres of land to develop, and we can put you both as close together or as far away as you want.
Great. I'll also need to make sure that my house is built in a friendly neighborhood. You know, like someplace where all the people are all nice, and everyone has a washer and dryer, and a well-stocked pantry that they don't mind sharing.
After a while, people start to mind Zach.
Can I finish, Sally? Thank you. Anyway, I also like the idea of the house having a home theater and a game room, and maybe a bowling alley. And I don't really feel the house needs to have showers as long as there's a hot tub.
I think I'd like for my house to be a little more sensible. I'd like something that's going to last me the rest of my life. So I'd like to make sure that the house is well built and will stand up to a lot of wear and tear. You know, nothing too flashy.
That will be no problem at all. Once you pick the lot, we can certainly help you to design the house so that it will have all the features that you want, and none of the features that you don't. I am confident that the Sun Valley housing development will be able to suit both of your needs nicely. In fact, just off the top of my head, I can think of 2 lots that we have here available that will be perfect for you both. Let me bring them up here on the screen. Here's the first one. This is lot 24Z.
Yeah. Boring.
Well, it might not be the flashiest place, but the ground seems to have a fair amount of structural integrity. Have you done any sort of geological survey to find out the composition of the bedrock?
We have, actually. You know, we do one of those surveys for each of our lots, but you're the first person who's ever actually asked about it. If I remember correctly, the area is mostly granite.
Fantastic. I'll hold off on making a final decision until after I've seen all of the options. But I have a really good feeling about this one.
Okay, well, the next lot here is 16A.
Boom! Beachfront. That's perfect. I call dibs. No take-backs.
Wait just a minute now, Zach. You have to think this through a little first. You can't just build a house on sand. Everybody knows that. It's in the Bible. Don't you know the song?
No. What song?
You know.
The foolish man built his house upon the sand. The foolish man built his house upon the sand. The foolish man built his house upon the sand. And the house on the sand went splat.
I'm telling you, if you build your house on that lot, you're asking for trouble. And when it falls down, you certainly aren't going to be allowed to move back in with me.
Actually, with modern advancements in engineering and architecture, you can build a house on the sand nowadays and it will end up being quite sturdy. The trick is to put the house on stilts.
So, are you telling me that the Bible is wrong?
If the Bible suggests that you shouldn't build houses on sand, then I guess I am.
Whoa, whoa, whoa there. Well, this all certainly took an unexpected turn into some sticky territory. I think we all might be looking at this scripture a little too literally. The important lesson of this story isn't where you should or should not build houses. The important lesson of the story is how you should and should not live your life.
How are you getting that from all of this exactly?
Actually, I'm getting it from the fact that Jesus said as much. Jesus said that anyone who puts his teachings into practice is like a wise man who builds his house on a rock. And anyone who does not put his teachings into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. Jesus isn't trying to give us tips on house building when he says that. He's saying that it's important that we listen to him and follow his teachings. That's really the whole point of the story.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what the point of all of this was.
Really, since the whole point of this parable is that we should follow Jesus' teachings, it's more important that you two forgive each other and stop being so mean to each other than it is who chooses to build their house on the sand and who chooses to build theirs on the rock.
What now?
You two need to forgive each other and stop being so mean, Sally. Every time you say mean things to Zach, it's like you're putting another brick in a house built on shaky foundation. And that goes for you too, Zach. I don't know what happened that got you both so mad that you're yelling back and forth and moving away from each other. But if you're trying to build your lives on the foundation of Jesus Christ, you both need to make your peace, offer up some forgiveness, and say you're sorry. Because that's what putting Jesus' teachings into practice looks like. And that's where you'll find true wisdom.
I suppose I haven't been the most forgiving brother here lately.
And I suppose I haven't been the most forgiving sister. I'm sorry for yelling at you, Zach.
And I'm sorry for yelling at you too, Sally. I guess this whole building two separate houses thing was always kind of silly, huh? I mean, it's going to wind up costing a fortune.
Wait, what's happening here?
It really would just be a whole lot better if we could get along and live in the same house. What do you say, Zach? Do you want to give it a shot?
I think so, Sally. Let's just stay in the same house and work on getting along a little better.
No! Way to take my sales, narrator. Next time, do me a favor and just keep your mouth shut.
All right, well, it seems to have wrapped up nicely for everybody.
Not everybody. Jerk!
Okay, well, this seems to have wrapped up nicely for almost everybody, so I think the thing to do now is to go on ahead and set the stage for the next act.
Hold on there, just 1 minute. You mean to tell me that we're done with this story?
I think so, Carl. At least I'd like to be done with it.
Can't be done with it yet. We didn't even get to see the house on the sand go splat.
I thought I made it clear that this story is about more important things than houses, Carl.
You did, but you also promised us, and I quote, amazing special effects. And I can't speak for everybody else here. I, for one, think that watching a house on the sand go splat would be pretty amazing. You wouldn't even have to do anything. I got the whole thing rigged up and ready to go right now.
What do you mean by rigged exactly?
Don't worry about it. Guys, let's bring in the house.
Don't worry about it. Carl, rigged with, where did that house come from?
Rigged with explosives. But it'll be fine. Don't worry about where the house came from. I got it all taken care of. Just enjoy the show.
Explosives?
You wanted the sequel to be bigger and better. All right, boys, let her up. blood's black. Look at that baby crumble.
Are we alive?
That was awesome.
Yeah, we won 16-8! All right. You've all had your fun. Now go set the scene for the next parable.
There's some behind the scenes stuff that needs to happen for this one, so we'll give him a few takes. That's-
Special effect.
Don't get much more special than that.
And the house on the sandwich.
Two people owed money to a certain moneylender. One owed him 500 denarii and the other 50. Neither of them had the money to pay him back, so he forgave the debts of both. Now which of them will love him more? Simon replied, I suppose the one who had the bigger debt forgiven. You have judged correctly, Jesus said. Luke 7:41-43. Our next parable takes place just outside of Crazy Sally's Loan Mobile, where a moneylender, played by Sally, is about to meet with a few of her debtors, played by Doris and Carl.
Loans, get your loans here. Payday loans, tax refund loans, Christmas loans, credit approval guarantee. John, is that you? You got my money, John. Do you? I need my money, John. Don't you make me chase you.
Doris?
Oh, hey, Carl. What are you doing down here at the loan stand?
Oh, well, I spent a little too much money on the special effects for the last act. So I had to come down here a few days ago and borrow a little bit from Sally to make ends meet. I mean, who knew dynamite could cost so much, am I right? And don't even get me started on houses. Jeez Louise! Anyway, blowing up that house ended up costing just enough to put me into hock for what I calculate will be the rest of my life. But at least it was totally awesome and worth it. What are you doing down here, Doris?
I'm sort of in the same boat. I really needed to sell those 2 lots in the last act when that fell through, and I ended up losing my job and having to borrow money from Sally to keep my house. I suppose I have only myself to blame, really. Well, myself and that narrator for not keeping her big mouth shut. You too, I suppose, for blowing up a perfectly good house that I could have really used right now.
It had to be done.
I don't think it did. Anyway, the money I borrowed is due today, and I have absolutely nothing to give Sally. I think I'm going to have to ask her for an extension.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that, Doris. That's a real tough situation you got there. And I know just how you feel. Do you mind me asking how much you owe her?
I owe her about 500 denarii.
500 denarii? What, like the one GMC makes? That's crazy. Like $50,000 a pop, and you owe Sally 500 of them? Boy, you weren't kidding when you said you were hard up for some cash. Where did it all go?
No, Carl, you've misunderstood. The car that GMC makes is a Denali. I don't owe Sally 500 Denali's. I owe her 500 denarii.
So what's a denarii then?
It's a type of money.
Ah, I think the word you might actually be looking for here is dinero then. Dinero means money, as in mucho dinero. As in, where did Sally get the dinero to buy 500 denali? As in, you're in denial if you think you have the dinero to repay 500 denali. See how that works?
Yes, except that absolutely none of those words were the word I actually meant. I owe Sally 500 denarii. A denarii is a type of Roman coin from Jesus' time that was worth about a day's wages.
That's right, Doris. A denarii was something.
I'm still not talking to you, narrator, so you can just right out of
Point taken. I'll just be over here if you need me for anything.
We won't.
So you owe Sally 500 days' wages. Well, that shouldn't be so bad now that you've lost your job. 50 days of making no money comes out to be nothing.
It doesn't work that way, Carl. I owe Sally a bunch of money whether I'm working or not.
Gosh, that's too bad. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but you're in the same boat, right? How much do you owe her?
After interest, penalties, and late fees, I owe Sally about $50.
$50? You blew up a whole house and you only owe her $50? How is that possible?
I usually try and pay down my debts aggressively. It just makes financial sense to do that.
How could you say we're in the same boat? You are not even close to being in the same boat as me. You are in a completely different boat, and your boat is the exact opposite of my boat. Your boat is a different color than mine. It's a different size than mine, and it's on the opposite side of the world from mine. In fact, you just might be in a car.
Well, I don't have any money to give Sally today either. That sort of puts us in the same boat.
No, it does not. Oh, great, here she comes.
That's what you get for ducking me, John. Next time, I won't be so nice.
Oh, hey guys, is it time to settle up already? Boy, time flies, am I right? So, who wants to go first?
He does.
Alright, Carl, according to my record, you owe me about $46.27.
It isn't even a full $50?
I guess not. Well, that's a pleasant surprise.
And how will you be paying today, Carl? We accept cash, or cash.
Actually, that's a funny story there, Sally. You see, I don't really have any money on me right now because I've sort of got into a bidding war with this guy from Colorado over this retired circus monkey. I found on eBay. The good news is that I won the auction and my monkey comes on Tuesday. The bad news is that I'm kind of broke right now.
Oh, that's not good.
But in a way, it is good because I've always wanted my own pet monkey. And now I finally got one coming. He even comes with his own little costume, which is adorable. And you know, Sally, you can come over and visit anytime you want.
Carl, you put me in a bad position here. I have to say I'm a little disappointed in you. But then again, $46.27 isn't exactly a lot of money. But I'm going to have to think a little bit about how I'm going to handle the situation. But I wouldn't worry about it too much. In the meantime, Doris, you're up.
Okay, here goes nothing.
Now, Doris, if memory serves me correctly, you owe me approximately 500 denarii, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Ugh, whose brilliant idea was it to put your account in denarii? It takes forever to remember that stuff. Okay, let's see here. 500 denarii adjusted for inflation and converted into dollars at 16.5%. Carry the 7, and that comes out to be, let's just call it an even bajillion. Does that sound about right to you, Doris?
I guess that's right.
So, when will the truck be here with all the money?
I'm sorry, Sally. Things have just been going downhill for me the past week. I lost my job, I got kicked out of my house, and I don't have any money to give you right now. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Well, this has just been a disappointing day all around. First John, then Carl, and now you. I think I know what to do about it, though.
You do?
Yeah, I've done some thinking and some soul searching, and I've come to the conclusion that you're all going to have to work off your debts in the salt mine I own in Russia. Let's put it straight. Carl, you'll have to work there for about a day and a half. Doris, you'll have to work there for about 300 years. It seems like that is the only way I'm going to be able to get any money out of you deadbeats.
No one is getting sent to any Russian salt mine. Sally, you're supposed to forgive Doris and Carl's debts.
What? That's crazy. What kind of moneylender goes around forgiving debts? That's just bad business.
It may be bad business, but you're going to do it because that's how the story goes.
Even John? Do I have to forgive that guy too?
Yes, I suppose so. It's the right thing to do.
Woohoo! All right.
Oh man, I hate that guy. Can you please explain to me why exactly I'm forgiving everyone's debts here at the last minute?
Well, in the parable, debt represents sin. You see, Jesus used to like to hang out with sinners a lot, and the Pharisees of the time really disapproved of that. They thought people like that were a bad influence. Jesus used this parable to explain why it was important that he keep ministering to that kind of person, the kind that others might think are too sinful to be around.
I still don't understand.
Here, watch this. Carl, how do you feel now that your debt's been forgiven?
I feel pretty good about it.
And Doris, how do you feel now that your debt's been forgiven?
It's just such a relief.
You see, having that debt forgiven meant a lot more to Doris than it did to Carl. And that's because Doris owed a lot more. In the same way, the real sinners of this world have a lot more to gain from Jesus' forgiveness than those who are maybe less sinful. That's why it was important for Jesus to keep ministering to even the most degenerate sinners. And that's why it's important for us to continue to do the same today. That's the real lesson of the story.
I suppose it makes sense. And I guess it does feel kind of good to do something nice like this for someone else. Even if one of them was John.
That's the spirit, Sally. Now it's probably time for all of us to move on to our last parable.
John 1, the system, nothing. Ha 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 ha.
Then Jesus told his disciples a parable to show them that they should always pray and not give up. He said, in a certain town there was a judge who neither feared God nor cared what people thought. And there was a widow in that town who kept coming to him with the plea, grant me justice against my adversary. For some time he refused, but finally he said to himself, even though I don't fear God or care what people think, yet because this widow keeps bothering me, I will see that she gets justice, so that she won't eventually come and attack me. And the Lord said, listen to what the unjust judge says. And will not God bring about justice for his chosen ones, who cry out to him day and night? Will he keep putting them off? I tell you, he will see that they get justice, and quickly. However, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on earth? Luke 18, 1-8. Our next parable takes place in a court of law where Zach is playing the part of the Honorable Judge Fancywiz, and Doris will be playing the part of the unfortunate widow.
All rise. The trial of Hugh V. Rays is now in session with the Honorable Zachary Q. Fantywig presiding.
What are you wearing?
My judge costume.
On what planet is that a judge's costume?
You said that all I needed was a wig and a robe.
Yes, a judge's wig and robe.
That's what these are. They belong to my uncle. He was a judge. He was also a big UK fan.
Well, I guess there's nothing we can do about it now. Just keep going.
Okay, please be seated. Thank you, Baylor. Is counsel ready to begin opening arguments? Then we're ready to proceed. I guess let's flip a coin to see which of you will go first.
Judge Fancy-Wig!
Is anybody else hearing that? What is going on exactly?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I don't mean to interrupt, but there's something I need to talk to you about.
Who are you exactly, and why are you interrupting these proceedings?
My name is Doris. You might remember me from a couple days ago. I was the plaintiff in one of your trials.
Wait a second. You are starting to seem a little bit familiar now. Were you the one who was trying to sue Globalcom for increasing your cable bill for no reason, and then keeping you on hold forever?
That's it! That's the one!
I do remember that trial. I thought it got thrown out because you didn't have any evidence of Globalcom actually breaking any laws.
It did. And that's exactly what I want to talk to you about. Because I think you made the wrong decision about throwing it out.
Ma'am, listen. This is all highly unorthodox. If you have a problem with one of my decisions, we have an appeals process for just such occasions. I would encourage you to go through the proper channels to try to get that decision overturned. You aren't going to make any progress by doing things this way. Now you're going to have to leave because you're interrupting something very important.
No.
What did you say?
I said no. I'm not leaving. You're wrong about this, and I will stay right here until I have my justice. Just because Globalcom hasn't technically broken any laws doesn't mean that what they're doing is right. They changed my rate without informing me, and then kept me on the phone for approximately 6 hours when I tried to cancel my service with them. What makes them think they can treat people that way? It's wrong, plain and simple, and I'm not leaving until somebody puts it right.
Doris, you're out of order.
I'm out of order. You're out of order. This whole courtroom is out of order. The entire stinking system is out of order.
Bailiff, would you kindly escort the woman off the premises?
I don't know, Your Honor. I'm kind of on her side about this. Globalcom raised my bill just last week. I'm still pretty sore about it, and they are just about impossible to get on the phone. I mean, when you're signing up, everything goes real quick and easy. But as soon as you try and cancel, it's like a ghost town over there.
Bailiff, are you willing to lose your job over this?
It wouldn't be the end of the world if I did. I can always get Sally to loan me a little money and then have her forget the debt later. She's been doing a lot of that here lately.
See? Your own bailiff thinks I'm right about all of this. I'm telling you, it won't be swayed until I taste that sweet justice.
All right. I suppose I'm going to have to call the police then. Let me just get my cell phone out and... Wait, I forgot. I never get any bars here inside this courtroom. Stupid Globalcom. Piece of junk. I'm still not changing my mind, though.
Really? How about now?
No.
Now?
No.
Now?
No. Wait. This seems familiar. Didn't we do a parable just like this one last time?
You mean the one where you were trying to sleep and Sally has to keep on waking you up and annoying you until you agreed to help her out?
Yes. This one seems very similar to that one.
Now?
No.
That's because they are similar. Both stories try to drive home the point that you should keep praying to God and not give up when things aren't going your way. It's basically just two different ways of telling the same story.
Now?